So, welcome back guys to another video, and I am joined here with Devin.
Hey, it's nice to be back.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Actually, the last time you were on the channel is when you gave me the infamous boner bag.
Yeah, it was.
And if you guys want to check out what the boner bag was all about, I will leave a link on the description below. It's when we went to Animazement and you pretty much just bought me a grab bag of hentai.
Yeah, pretty much. It was kind of one of those things where I was like, I saw it. I got some extra cash. Why not?
Yeah, that was really funny. A lot of that stuff still shrink wrapped. I haven't looked at it.
It's one of those things where you just kind of like, well, I got it, so I don't want to really watch it, but whatever, it's there.
But yeah, I decided to do a kind of an interesting video for this week. We've been friends now for about 3.5, almost 4 years.
Yeah, coming up. Actually, wait, this month's July, so it has been 4 years.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since we've been friends, and I thought of a really fun video, and we could talk about games that kind of take us back, because I think you can agree with me, Devin, that gaming sometimes is like a time machine.
It is. It's nice to go back and like remember the things that really brought us together in our friendship, how it really blossomed into what it is now.
or just games in general. I mean, like, you'll put in a game and you'll be playing it and you're like, man, I remember when I played this, I was like 10 years old, and stuff like that. And so I kind of want to talk about a game that really takes you back, because honestly, this is something I've never asked you before. We've been friends for this long, I've never asked you, Devin, what's your most nostalgic game? Which, I mean, that's probably a weird question anyway. But yeah, hold on to that. Hold on. So I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to answer mine, and then I'm going to share a story that's probably the most nostalgic for gaming for us. So,
Right.
Without further ado, Devin, what is your most nostalgic game?
It's probably a little cliche. I know we were talking about it a little bit earlier today, but Final Fantasy X for me is really, it hits home.
Yeah.
I remember Blockbuster when that was still relevant and we didn't have GameFly or instant downloads. My dad took me to go pick up Final Fantasy X from Blockbuster, and I put it in, and I remember playing from 6 that night until 3 a.m. the next day.
Shit.
And my dad came in the room and was like, you have to find a safe spot, and I'm taking the console away, you need to go to sleep. And it was one of those, like, it brought a whole new generation of graphics, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It revolutionized gaming for me. It was something new. It was the first time I had played a Final Fantasy with voice acting.
Yeah.
It was just, words can't explain how it makes me feel. And now going back and playing the remastered, it brought back all these like very emotional things for me. But see, now the difference is I'm an adult.
Yeah.
And I could play as long as I wanted to.
Yeah, I loved Final Fantasy X as well, and yeah, we were talking about that before we started filming. We were talking about Final Fantasy X, and I was like, not adding the online Final Fantasies like 11 and 14, but I will say Final Fantasy X, in my opinion, was one of the best last great Final Fantasies. Because I'm not a big fan of Final Fantasy 12. I wasn't a big fan of 13, and the ones that came out, 13, 2, and 3, and Where's Lightning Now,
Yeah, we could just make a whole another video on why I don't like 12.
Yeah.
We'll say that for another day.
So yeah, I think 10 really was like that last hurrah, and yeah, I love 10 so much, and I remember playing that on the PS2 for the first time, and yeah, I agree, it was very revolutionary. It was very different because it was on a brand new console. It was a brand new Final Fantasy. It had, voice acting. The music was great. Man, yeah, that was a really good game.
So, what is yours?
What's mine?
I'm curious.
Well, I would have to say mine would be Super Mario World.
Ooh.
Super Mario World. And the reason why is because I had Nintendo. And my cousin, and I think you can agree with me, man, all of us in our family, we all had that cool, kick-ass cousin.
Yeah.
We had that cousin that's just the epitome of cool. Well, my friend Jamie, or my cousin Jamie, he's my friend as well, he brought over the Super Nintendo, and I had never played the Super Nintendo before, and it was just amazing seeing Super Mario World. I mean, it was just so freaking great, seeing all the colorful graphics and the new music, the controller was so different. But what made it even better, it's not like he just came over and brought it over and it was like, hey, I got a Super Nintendo and you don't. It wasn't like that. He decided to leave it at the house.
And let you play.
He decided to let me borrow his Super Nintendo.
See, I have that cousin. And they were not as cool as yours. They were like, well, if you would like to come over and I guess you can play.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, okay. And then, of course, your parents are like, well, Santa might bring you one for Christmas. And then Christmas comes around and they're like, oh, well, we know you wanted the Super Nintendo, but we got you the Sega instead. And I was
nothing wrong with the Sega.
No, nothing. I'm not bashing on Sega at all. I'm just saying, when you want Mario and you get Sonic, you're kind of like, well, tomato.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that was just cool, man. For him to be leaving a brand new console, just leaving it at my house, and
that's family, that's trust, that's like us letting each other borrow video games. We're both very
oh yeah, I'm
so anal about our games.
You're probably you and our friend Mikey are probably the only people I'll let borrow video games. I don't let anybody else borrow, which that comes to the next last little story, and that's when you had just joined the band.
Right.
I remember we were you were actually new in town, like you hadn't lived in Wilmington before.
Yeah, I was here maybe a month, 2 months, and I remember the day. We hung out at band practice the night before, and you were like, do you like video games? And we've said this probably 100 times over. And I was like, yeah, I love video games. Who the hell doesn't like video games?
I had to make sure, though. I was like, if this guy's going to be playing drums in our band, he needs to like video games, damn it.
And I think that's what really started our friendship, because right then it went from, hey, let's play music, to let's just put this on the back burner and talk about all the years of gaming we forgot.
Yeah, and I remember you had just joined the band, and we were about to open up. I remember it was your first show. We were going to open up for Michael Graves, the former singer of the Misfits, and that was a big gig. It was a really big gig.
And two practices we had, and then we went and played that show.
Yeah,
and I got so many compliments. But you were like, do you like Castlevania? And I was
because we went to the beach. We went to the beach and we were swimming, and just randomly, I was just like, "Hey, have you ever played Castlevania: Lord of the Shadow?" Because that was a brand new game at the time. I had just got done beating it.
And for me, I was like, I've always liked Castlevania games, but I've never played Lord of Shadows. I've seen it on the shelf. I haven't seen anything to really catch my interest in it yet. And you're like, well, you got to play it.
Yeah.
You've got to take this home. Here's my copy.
Yeah.
Just smack it in my face and rub it around. Play this game. And then, of course, I think, 2-3 days later, I had run through it and I was like, this was the best game ever. Oh my God.
That's when I learned that. See, let me tell you something about Devin. Devin's the kind of guy, he gets a game and he just beats it. That's just the way it is. He plays it for 2 days and he's like, here you go, I've already 100%ed it. I got all the achievements, I got the side quests, and maybe that's another reason why I don't mind you borrowing my games, because I know they're not going to be gone for that long.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. I mean, it's a love-hate relationship when it comes to me and games, because if a game takes me longer than 2 days, it automatically gets put on the shelf.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's one of those things where if it's good enough to last me longer than 2 to 3 days, it's good enough for me to keep it. And that's where I've officially just learned to, instead of buying games, to play them from someone else first.
Just borrow them from me.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, guys, we pretty much just wanted to talk a little bit about some of our most nostalgic gaming memories, stuff like that. And plus, like I said, it's been a while since you've been on the channel. And it's always fun to do videos together. But here's where I want you guys to come in. I want you guys to leave a comment below. Tell me what is one of your most nostalgic video games. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section. Also, if you guys haven't joined yet, you guys can join the XS Gaming podcast group page on Facebook. I'll have a link on the description below for that. So if you guys want to make a video response, I know YouTube doesn't do video responses anymore, but you can make your video and share it on the podcast page. It's to also be a way for you to, find some more people in the XS Gaming community and stuff like that and stuff. I mean, can you lose?
Yeah.
What can you lose?
We're bringing it back.
But anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, happy gaming.